This month on HMP, we're covering all the Naked Gun movies, and this week, are we in for a delicious seconds or the sophomore slump? Welcome to Half-Ass Movie Podcast. Welcome back, you dirty babies. It's time for another Half-Ass Movie Podcast, a show where we put together a half-ass theme as an excuse to watch movies. My name is Adam Portress, and joining me today, he smells the fear. Sweet Sean Kovacs from the internet.
Sex, Frank? No, not right now, Ed.
And he's been swimming in raw sewage, Bruce Leslie.
I'm dirtier than a coal miner's underwear in winter or whatever he said, January something.
Listen, I'm gonna take a wild guess here, and I'm gonna say coal miner's underwear, no matter what time of the year, probably not the most pleasant.
I have
That's
seen
just a
coal
guess.
miner's underwear. Can confirm.
Was that the sequel to the coal miner's daughter? Coal miner's underwear.
I cannot entertain any follow-up questions.
Sissy Spacek, well, what are you doing in this one?
I signed an NDA with the coal company.
Like, listen, we don't want anybody disparaging us. Please sign this affidavit, please. Terrible. Well, we have been talking about the Naked Gun movies over the past couple weeks here, everybody, and we are at Naked Gun 2.5, The Smell of Fear. This came out a couple years after the original Naked Gun movie and everything. Listen, it's a comedy. We have to capitalize on those as much as possible. And Lord knows the folks over at Zucker Abrams have capitalized on sequels and stuff as much as they possibly could at possibly every turn, I would imagine.
It's weird because I think that Airplane 2 is a pretty damn good sequel to a comedy. I would put it up in the top 10 of best sequels to a comedy ever, probably. And there is diminishing returns with the Naked Gun movies. The first one, maybe that movie isn't funny anymore or something. I wouldn't know because I'm just too attached to that. But watching this week, I hadn't seen it since it was first released in theaters, probably. And there isn't a whole lot of laughs to go around. And I had a thought watching it, which is that all of your date movies and, like blank movie, and it was just the worst sort of parody. And there was like 20 of them that came out in about a 10-year span. Those movies are far more like Naked Gun 2.5 than the original Naked Gun. And my thinking of that is this alone. The amount of time spent watching people mug when they get hit in the face with something. There's so there's so much of that in this movie that directly relates to your date movie or whatever, what have you. I think Scary Movie is the exception to the rule with these movies. I think that they have their own voice.
At least
for the first couple ones. Mm-hmm. But like with those other films, that is not the case. And it almost feels like we need to stretch the runtime. And it felt like that in Naked Gun 2.5 to me today too, or yesterday too. It was one of those moments where I was like, oh, this is where that came from. Which I did not feel with the original Naked Gun, maybe, but I'm far too attached to have any sort of bird's eye view of looking at Naked Gun.
That's your
I'll say a couple of things on that, like on what you said. First off, you had mentioned the runtime, and this is the third consecutive week that we're covering an hour 25-minute runtime, so I'm starting to notice a trend. What a weird thing to do the exact same, and I love everything about it. And then I think that the Abrams team was spread a little bit thin for this movie because this and Hot Shots comes out in the same year, and I almost feel like the sort of thing you fall out of love with the old girlfriend and you're really into the new girlfriend when they didn't realize one was actually going to have a job and be able to pay some bills and the other was going to drink tiger blood and stuff. So, they kind of probably put a little too much into Hot Shots, banking on that being the big franchise.
Well, don't forget also, Bruce, at this time too, one of the Zuckers had just directed Ghost. There was a lot.
I did not know that.
That's why that scene is in 2.5.
I'm retroactively giving it an extra half chuckle if you didn't notice. Like now I get one more little bit of enjoyment out of that scene. So
As a matter of fact,
thank you for sharing.
So that's the Jerry Zucker of them, just so we're all.
it is Jerry.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I can't believe I made it to this point in my life. And because that's the kind of like cool little tidbit I love to drop on people, Sean.
Well, it is a very Bruce Leslie fact. But like the other thing about it is that during the ad campaigns, Adam, I think you're too young for this, but like during the ad campaigns for Naked Gun 2.5, the posters and the voiceover would say from the brother of the director of Ghost.
I'm old enough to remember that ad campaign, but unfortunately I did not hold on to that little bit of love. But man, I'm so glad you shared that. I am going to be sharing that at the next unfortunate soul that has to talk to
Hey, at least he understands. He understands the assignment and what. I'm glad this shows a lot of growth, Bruce Leslie. Congratulations to
It's
you.
now going to replace the one that I have been dropping for the last few years, which is, did you know that the director of A Christmas Story also directed Black Christmas?
Oh yeah, Bob Clark.
Yep.
There
So
you
now
go.
I can drop off Bob Clark, put this in there.
Oh, Bob Clark is spinning his grave now on account of that. Golly bum.
He's like, finally, Leslie's going to let me rest.
He's off my case for a change. But before we do get into all this good stuff, we do want to say a big giant thank you to the people that support us over at patreon.com/HMP. Those awesome people get pre-show, post-show, Dinger Zone. This week's Dinger Zone, which you'll actually be able to hear if you're on the live stream and everything. It happens right after this show. This week, we're going to be talking about our top 5 favorite character actor faces. There's a lot of amazing character actors and stuff out there, and I'm interested to see where things are going to fall. We haven't recorded it yet. We're doing it live right after this. So if you do listen to this show over at on our YouTube or Kick or wherever else we stream, we stream a couple of. We're streaming on Facebook tonight, believe it or not. I don't know that anybody's going to watch over there because it's still, but you never know. That's what we're just throwing it everywhere. Exactly. It's just called, is that doing something? Throw it out there. See what's happening. So do us a giant favor, man. Like, subscribe, and do all of those things. And if you want to be, super extra Patreon supporting baby right over here, the links are in the show notes and all that kind of good stuff, as well as all the other fun stuff that we do, including our TikTok. I do my regular YouTube stuff on there. I'm doing TikTok Trash Tuesdays mostly right now because school's back in session and I'm subbing again, everybody. Pray for the students of the world. But I'm still doing the TikTok Trash Tuesdays, and where I'm going through taking people's movies takes on TikTok. I don't usually watch the whole thing when I do it, so I'm kind of as surprised as you are when things go down. So go check that out, and if you want to see the remnants of all that, just check out all of our social media and stuff like that. Links are in the show notes as always. Appreciate you to all the Patreon supporters. All right, gentlemen, let's get into it. Here is the IMDb plot line. If I can get this going correctly. Here's the IMDb plot line for The Naked Gun, The Smell of Fear. As we all know, IMDb always 100% correct in everything they say and or do. Lieutenant Frank Drebin discovers that his ex-girlfriend's new beau is involved in a plot to kidnap a scientist who advocates for solar energy. And then that's very much exactly what was there. Good job. This was written by David Zucker and Pat Prost. Pat wrote some the Police Academy movies, Hot Shots, High School High, and Scary Movies 3, 4, and 5. So mixed bag. Directed again by David Zucker. Again, Airplane, Ruthless People, Basketball, My Boss's Daughter, and some scary movie sequels as we've spoken of. This time again starring Leslie Nielsen, Priscilla Presley, Robert Goulet. You will hear my Robert Goulet story during this episode if you haven't before. How often are we pulling out Robert Goulet stuff, right? George Kennedy is back, as well as O.J. Simpson, new with Richard Griffiths, and Myrtle Beach's own Anthony Jones.
Yep.
And as per our usual arrangement in these movies, Weird Al Yankovic.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys a little older than I, and probably remember this movie a little bit better. I remember maybe seeing a couple of trailers and stuff on TV back in the day, but I think that was about it for the most part. So was this a thing? Were people excited for this?
Not particularly. I at least I wasn't. It was one of those movies where it was kind of like, oh, of course they're making another one because the first one made so much money.
Yeah.
But it wasn't something where it was like, oh my God, I can't wait for this movie to come out. It wasn't like waiting for Back to the Future 2.
My friends and I were mostly like either premium cable or VHS watchers, you had to drive 45 minutes to get to our closest movie theater.
Oh, yeah,
so
that's
it
a
takes something
bummer.
really big like a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie to get us to do that.
We're going to watch Bloodsport. We're not going to watch Liam Neeson, okay?
So this was the sort of thing when you're seeing the trailers for it on TV, you get really excited, and you and your friends are like, man, this movie's going to be so awesome. But then it comes out in theaters, you get you get the lackluster response that I think it's fair to say this one may have gotten.
Yeah.
And then by the time it's out on VHS, yeah, you're going to rent it and watch it, but it's like you got to watch something, right? So why not this Naked Gun 2.5?
Yeah, I think there's probably certainly a function of our limited society at the time, and what we had access to and everything, to where it was just like, oftentimes we were like, all right, well, that's fine, it's good enough.
And I'm not gonna lie, I was way more excited for Hot Shots this year. The year that this came out, I was team Hot Shots, not team Naked Gun was old news, man. I was going with the new thing, Hot Shots.
I remember seeing like Hot Shots in my we didn't have money, but a friend down the street had money, and his dad had a like satellite and everything, so he had all the expensive stuff. So we would watch stuff over at his house and stuff, and that would be like Hot Shots. I remember seeing Hot Shots at his house, and it was just like, this is the most hilarious thing ever. I don't know how Hot Shots would hold up today.
Nor I.
And I'm kind of it's also one I'm scared to go back to, because it's like, is it going to really suck?
It's also one of those weird things where it seems like more people remember Hot Shots Part 2 more than they remember the original Hot Shots.
I think that you're right on that one, because I know there was a solid year when people would ask me what I thought of a movie, I would answer with, it's no Hot Shots Part 2.
Bruce is telling us all of his social, hints and tricks tonight. It's been quite the journey.
How to Win Friends and Influence People by Bruce Leslie.
Hey, here's what you want to do.
I'm not the one who put a Punisher movie on my list of greatest films there, Sean.
Did I?
You told me a story like you took some film class.
Oh, the film class. Yeah.
Yeah, right down your list of all-time favorite movies.
True. I was trying to get a spark out of the professor.
Yeah, he made you give a new answer, right?
Yes, he did. He did indeed. And rightfully so.
I had that problem in like I want to say like 10th or 11th grade English and everything. I thought I'd be like we had some research project to do, and I was like, listen, I'm going to be a little bit of a smart ass here. I'm going to write a whole thing on Star Trek. I'm like, this teacher don't know no Star Trek. How wrong I was. Mm-hmm. This teacher knew all Star Trek and was holding me to a higher degree than every other student. I was like, what a mistake awesome. I have made.
Oh, so let me ask you guys something when it comes to Naked Gun 2.5, right? I don't know why I think this, but I like Robert Goulet better as the villain than I like Ricardo Montalban. It's one of the only things about this movie that I think is better than the original. And there is a reason why I think that. It's because Robert Goulet, number one, there's just something so great about, like, there's something so old Hollywood about him that I understand Ricardo Montalban also possesses a little bit of, but he was such an outsider for old Hollywood. Whereas Robert Goulet just feels like, listen, I was in 700 movies, and then I sang like a canary every single night in Las Vegas, and now here I am, Robert Goulet, and I look like the most unnatural human being in the world. So there's that aspect to it.
He's like a wild Tim Burton drawing.
Yes. There's also the aspect to it where his plan is way more diabolical than the plan from the first movie, where we're going to trick everyone into staying on fossil fuels by pretending that we're doing this other thing instead. That's way more diabolical than the Ricardo Montalban idea. And I was totally fascinated by that, and the fact that he's got the lady at the beginning of the movie, like yet another thing. Like, Frank's in it this time, boy. He's going up against Goulet.
He's what Wayne Newton could have been if he were taller.
Also, there's something not problematic about Robert Goulet that there totally is with Wayne Newton. Like, there's something off about him where if there's any joke at his expense, he gets super angry with the person. Like he went through bankruptcy one time, and I can remember him just screaming at somebody on some late night talk show because they had made a joke about it. It's so strange.
Well, I think it's because Wayne Newton was a child star. Like Donkey Shane, didn't he sing that when he was 13?
Yeah, his big hits came in his teens and stuff like that. So he was a big deal for a long time.
So basically, it's like you can tell he's never been punched, like that kind of thing.
Right.
Well, yeah, he was catered to for quite some time, as one might imagine a money-making 13-year-old would be.
So what do you guys think? Do you like Montalban better than Goulet?
I do, but the kind of, I love one, like I like a character actor that you know what you're getting from before you start the movie.
I like to think of it like this. I'm Bruce Leslie. I like a ham sandwich.
Oh,
because that's what that's what your actor, you love an actor giving you a big old giant ham sandwich, and Ricardo Montalban is for sure doing that. Goulet's just looking like I love him. He's just got such a unique look to him. Like I said, he looks like a Tim Burton drawing. In person, he's more gigantic than you would expect by looking at the screen. He's a huge man.
Huh.
He is like he's one of those guys, like, you know, when as a tall person, when you see another tall person, you go, oh, that guy's fairly tall. That's a big deal. And he certainly is that. And with the booming voice and everything, he's very much over everybody. And here's where I am. And like, you can't help but be magnetized to the dude. He has that kind of Hollywood quality in him where it's just like right over to him. You can't help but, like, you know, notice the guy. And he was sweet. He was in town at a news station I was working at, where he was doing The King and I. And it was like, all right.
Oh, man. Oh, my God. Etc. Oh, my God.
I'm pretty sure it was King and I. But so he was doing that and everything. And he was like, he was very, very cool. And our director, who was a giant Simpsons fan and everything, he was in the station that was across the town here and whatnot, because we were just on a remote thing. And he goes, ask him about his guest voice on The Simpsons. And so we did. We were like, hey, Mr. Goulet, what was it like doing a voice on The Simpsons? And he looked you dead in the face and with all seriousness goes, I have no idea what you're talking about. It was great. It was so amazing to just have that kind of thing. It's like, I got to get out of here. I've got a tooth I got to fix and everything. And he left, and it was just like, wow, what a cool guy.
It's nice to hear that.
Like that.
It's nice to hear that because when you watch him, he looks like he's made out of like 65% petroleum. You know, if that makes sense to you guys, there's something oozy about him that just permeates through the screen. So it's great to hear that he's actually a nice guy. And of course he's a nice guy. The guy worked in show business for 857 years.
He feels like a guy that would, and I don't know from nothing.
So
this is
Johnny
me guessing.
Carson, though.
I feel like Robert Goulet shows up on time, ready to roll, super prepared. I don't know why I feel that, but that's how I feel about the man when I'm looking at him. I go like, I bet this guy comes to just ready to roll.
Yeah.
He feels like the kind of guy, like he's always on, if you know what I mean. Like if you're on the elevator with him, he's going to take that moment to be Bob Goulet for you. You know,
you're on an elevator with Robert Goulet. Congratulations.
You're going up to the 14th floor. There you go.
Just got yourself a story, fella. I'm trying desperately not to do Will Ferrell's, but Robert Goulet.
Here's the thing, though. Like in a weird, I mean, it's like all good impressions. It's Goulet just turned up.
Right.
Which, by the way, let's talk about this for half a second, because we are in, what's this, 1991? Yeah, 1991. Dana Carvey is a member of SNL and doing a George Bush impression. Why can't we get the best?
I don't understand that.
Yeah, that was a big question I had, and I don't know if it's seriously comes down to like an NBC versus Paramount.
But am I not wrong in saying Paramount put out all of the SNL movies?
Yes,
I don't know.
Did.
I'm 99% sure, because like the
Eddie
one, the Wayne's
Broadway
World
video. Yes.
Okay, so that is weird. Maybe it's an issue of like, you know, you're gonna, even at that point, Carvey money might have been more than Joel Knickerbocker or whoever this guy was money.
I will say, the other part to it that I found just so lazy was it's interesting that they didn't go with Dana Carvey. And yes, it did kind of piss me off. It's like, he's right there. Like, why didn't you just do that? Yeah. It's an easy layup. But it's so lazy to me, all the Barbara Bush stuff where it's like, look, we just saw you do all the shit with the Queen.
Yeah.
Like, at least make different jokes, totally different jokes with Barbara Bush if you're going to do that. And I just found it all cloying and annoying.
I will say this, though. I enjoyed how Barbara just took everything with stride. You know, like she got hit, she got punched, she got thrown over things, but she's always kind of like she gets up like, oh, like something just like a brisk wind like knocked her over or something, as opposed to someone's fist. And she just wakes up like, oh, I just brush it off myself, and I guess we're fine.
I think with the public image that Barbara Bush had, that the right gag to go with here for this movie is have her being really sexually forward with Frank and him making all these uncomfortable faces because the first lady like grabbed his butt.
That would have been funny. Yeah, that could have worked.
Either that or just visual gags, like different visual gags with her where, you know, it doesn't match. Her stunt double doesn't match up to who she's supposed to look like. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever you're doing in this, we've already seen all this already. And I got to tell you that opening scene at the White House where Frank's got the lobster, it's just like, holy hell, we all know where this is going, and this is 10 minutes long, this scene. What are we doing?
It is extremely long, and it felt like the lobster scene was there for the exposition to get out for the rest of the film. They're like, we need to get some exposition across, but we also need something that's not going to be boring, so let's have him doing something. Oh, I know. Give him the largest lobster you've ever seen. And I know, and I watched it going like, Sean's dying at this because they're making it hella gross. And I'm just like, I know he hates this right now. Just a fistful of butter and everything. It's like, my God.
You are not wrong.
The only thing that I couldn't like get out of, because I did my bear trap thing here, Sean, is I just couldn't get out of what idiot thought it was a good idea to serve shellfish at a state dinner.
It's the worst idea.
On that. First off, there's so many cultures with restrictions against shellfish.
Yeah.
So you're going to say, well, are they Jewish or not? You got to think about that. Or, you know, is it, I don't know these things. Then, of course, there's the messiness factor, which Frank wouldn't be the only one doing this. We all know that.
I do like how he's the only one eating, though.
And then there's the allergy thing. Aren't there lots of people with like deadly allergies to shellfish?
Yeah.
So,
but how else are you going to get that hilarious pincher hitting the boob bit?
Yeah,
I did like the whole puppetry, but I say it's better if it's a turkey neck.
The best part about because it is stupid, it is bad, but the thing about it that makes it funny to me is how telegraphed it is. The badness of it is what I think is funny, because it's called, well, you know where this is going. I laugh because I'm just like, this is so corny and dumb, but yet every now and then, you know, dumb crap like that can get me. I did like this one. This was a great joke that I had with the guy, the professor kind of guy in the wheelchair and everything, where Priscilla Presley is talking to him about how she misses Frank, and and she goes, when you've had that much man, but then you wouldn't understand, and he just kind of goes, yeah, I wouldn't understand nothing. I thought that was a great line. I thought that was super good, and again, impressive when when in late 80s and early 90s and stuff where there's like a homophobic joke, but it's not like a bad not awful homophobic. It's just like it's just enough to make you go like, oh, all right.
It's almost like there's somebody close to them that is gay and they didn't want to offend them, and I find that great,
because it's just the right amount where you're like, okay, we can make it fun, but it doesn't feel super mean-spirited or anything.
I also think the key ingredient is the gay person isn't the punchline, it's the person who's uncomfortable that's the punchline.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, because you're not punching down as much. You're saying, oh geez, I don't have a problem with it, but I still feel like I don't want to be mistaken that way or something. I
wrote notes because this movie was.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
Yeah. I just realized something. Adam, do you like this movie?
I don't hate it.
Huh?
I don't hate it. Like, and I'll sum it up in the final review here and everything. But I don't hate it. No.
It looks like we got a bit of a fan. So when the MTV Movie Awards blessed this movie with Best Kiss from Leslie Nielsen and Priscilla Presley, you were like, yes,
finally. Now, if we could have afforded MTV at the time, an 11-year-old me would have been like, sweet.
Naked Gun 2.5 won 2 awards. That's the first one. The second one is an ASCAP award, which sounded familiar to me, and it's actually a much it's a much more prestigious award than I thought, because it's the American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers. And so
It's like the rights management company, right?
Yes, and Ira Newborn won the award as the composer of this film, and I've got to be honest with you, he kind of deserves it.
The music's real good.
It is. Say what you will, how lazy the Zuckers are with this film, but Ira isn't.
No,
Ira
getting that
going
whole
full
band
blast.
together in there, and it's like it's so full, and comes at you with this like it's so impactful. Like he did a fantastic job on this. Undersung hero in this franchise, I think.
Not undersung. The man won an award.
Well, an ASCAP award.
It's a major award.
A major ASCAP award. Okay,
come on.
I like how an ASCAP award, as if Adam's trophy
how many
cases break it off the wall.
Portrait?
I've been nominated a couple times, but yes, I haven't won. Okay, if that's what you want to hear, that's it. All right, Jesus.
Thank you. I'm satiated.
So I like the clock's too slow on the dynamite bit. I thought that was funny.
Say what?
The clock's too slow on the dynamite. I love stupid, dumb cops and stuff like that, where they pull it up and like, hey, this is 5 minutes slow. Let's get it up to noon, and boom. It's just so dumb. It's great.
It might be my favorite gag in the movie. It's not my most memorable gag, but it might be my favorite one.
My favorite moment in the movie happens really early, and it's when you see Ed for the first time, and it's my favorite line in any Naked Gun movie, where Frank goes, "Oh, hey Ed, I heard Ed is pregnant again. Congratulations!" And Ed can say, if I find that guy, so help me God. It made me laugh so hard the first time I saw it as like a 17-year-old, and I've remembered it to this day. So when it hit again, I was like, "Oh man,
he's so passionate about it," and he goes right in. There's like zero hesitation. It's like I'm asking you about a regular moment in your life, and he just goes, "You son of a bitch."
So good.
Ed had some of the better gags in this movie. I also like the gag when Ed's trying to console Frank about being single and being lonely, and he's like, "I just can't take it. All this sex with all these women in their 20s, it's awful."
Yeah.
And he's describing it, and he goes over to Ed, and he's foaming at the mouth. and then he also has the great gag where he's like, "Okay," takes off his badge and his gun. "This is just me, another regular citizen like you. You're gonna get it." And of course, you're just watching Frank's face while you hear all the noises of pugilism. In the camera turns back around, and Ed has just gotten beat the heck up.
Speaking of which, I also like in that line, it runs up and Ed comes in there. He just goes where he's looking at Priscilla Presley for the first time again. Here he goes, "Hey, with breasts like that, and all that kind of stuff." And he goes, "Yeah, she sure looked like my mother, all right." And then he drops in and just goes, "You're looking at her like you look at your mother." And I was like, that is friggin' hilarious, dude. That is a good line. So good.
That is a good line. Look, it's not like it's bereft of humor. I do laugh at some of the things that are happening in this movie. I was just really taken back by how much happens in this movie.
Oh yeah, the close up of the Scooby-Doo facial expressions.
Oof, it's rough, man.
That's what you do when you don't have like a real good punchline. You just go like, "The face is the punchline." See?
Oh,
thank goodness at least Nielsen's pretty good at making faces, I suppose. I mean, I'm sure that his great grandkids, when they're like 5 years old, he makes those faces, and they're
of course.
I don't know. The one face of his I really do like is the kind of tripping over the cord at the end and just kind of like it's bad. It's bad, but it's bad in a good way. It's like
that was so great too. Trying to defuse the bomb, you just need to unplug it.
That was another stupid little bit. I'm just like that. Very, very dumb. I enjoy the dumb. I love the bummer bar where we go through like the pictures in the back are like the Hindenburg and the Titanic and just
Michael Dukakis.
Everybody just having the worst time. This lady singing and all that. And I love his exit and everything, or when he's screaming at everybody. And the tag, of course, is at the time, I was dating a lot, where he's talking about the Boy Scouts and everything. I was like, that's pretty good.
Since I was the Boy Scout leader, yeah.
And everyone's like, "Whoa,
that was a great."
I was just dating a lot. I should have had better context with it. I'm sorry. Then of course we got your Weird Al as the drug dealer kind of person in the police station and everything, holding everybody up.
It's a lot easier to tell it's him now because he just looks more like himself. He's not a caricature like he was doing in the 80s at that time.
Yeah.
And so the first time I saw it, I did not know that was Weird Al, but this go around, I was like, oh, there he is right there.
Yeah, I was just going to, kind of follow up on your statement, Sean. I was going to say that I wouldn't hold it against anybody if they didn't recognize him. I mean, I wouldn't make fun of them. I think it's easy to not know it's Weird Al if you don't know it's Weird Al.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you know he's in this movie, you listen for the voice, you can definitely hear the voice. The voice is so Al that it's crazy. But again, I like how, he's been the through line through the movies and stuff like that. I think that's a really cool, stupid thing.
It really is.
I love the crazy amount of crap that's in the evidence office that they keep going over. That they've like, hey, we've got this thing. Here's this Dead Sea Scroll. Here's this other bull crap like that. Stupid things like that amuse me.
Yeah.
But of course, the thing that we all came for was OJ getting dragged.
OJ was in this movie more than I remembered. Is he in the third one even more than this one? Because this was definitely more than the first, right? I'm not wrong.
Yeah, he's definitely has got a lot more to do in this one. I think they were scared of how much of football star turned actor, how good could he possibly do? So let's sideline him for the majority of the time. And they probably went through that and was like, oh, you know what, he did all right. Let's let's give him a little bit more screen time and everything. But I still like the fact that we treat him like a pinata. And that's just be it OJ or anyone else, whoever would be in that character, that's your job now is to get your ass drug.
Well, you guys are forgetting that he's in Towering Inferno, and he's pretty terrible in Towering Inferno. He's pretty bad in that movie.
It's been a minute, so I don't remember.
I don't think I've ever seen Towering Inferno.
I watched the good multi-people films like your Mad, 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 Mad World.
I just watched Poseidon. What's it called? The Poseidon Adventure? I watched that on loop on New Year's Eve.
Hey, at least that one's good. Poseidon, however.
I mean, what's not to like? It's got Steve McQueen and Paul Newman in it, for God's sake. It's a good movie.
The dance scene, always love, again, some fantastic fake stunt doubles here and everything in the wild dance. It's indicative of what we've seen before, but yeah, it's all right. Could be worse, I suppose. But then again, we do have the out of control wheelchair, which is, I'm okay for that.
I want to know all about the quality of that wheelchair. Man, there's so many wheelchair gags in this movie too.
So many. Don't get up.
Don't get up. And then later on, the other guy starts to actually get up, and he has to push him back down into the seat when the duplicate has replaced him. The imposter. That's what I'll call him.
I also enjoy how, like, in the moment and everything, when he finally stands up, when the phony guy stands up and whatnot, and how OJ just buys it right away. Nordberg's like, oh my God, it's a miracle, everybody. It's like he's not suspicious at all. He just goes straight to miracle.
Another great wheelchair gag is the mariachi band. One of the mariachi just happens to be in a wheelchair, and nobody in the crowd thinks, hey, there's a guy missing in a wheelchair, and here's a guy dressed like a mariachi in a wheelchair. And the way that the wheelchair dances with everybody, it's a nice little plus. You got to take your joy where you can find it in this world.
Surprised the song goes on as long as it does. It's like, okay.
OJ, they're really lucky OJ could toot that horn, man, because he had a really nice horn solo where they were trying to sneak away. Horn solo, that's a great Star Wars pun.
I at least like, at least with trumpet you can fake it. You can fake a trumpet real easy. Just blow, just do a couple of fingerings.
There's only 3 buttons. There's only so many ways to push them.
Yeah, you can't screw that up too bad, I would think, but somebody would.
I played trumpet up until the 8th grade when I laughed at something inappropriate and was too embarrassed to go back to the teacher, so I quit playing trumpet.
That is the oddest way I've ever heard anyone say they're quitting band. Wow.
Yeah.
Priscilla Presley feeding all of her pets. Again, I like a stupid, Naked Gun is just replete with running gags and stuff, and anytime we're like, okay, here's another pet, here's another pet, here's another pet, stupid crap like that. Again, I'm an easy pleaser sometimes.
I kind of felt like I was in Ace Ventura, but I think this does predate Ace Ventura.
Oh yeah, by what, 3 years, 4 years,
1 or 2 years? Yeah.
It's pretty close though. You're right.
They're like, hey, listen, we need that Naked Gun 2.5 money. Take a couple of those jokes and put them in our film to make it better.
This movie made a lot of money, man.
I do also like when Frank was fighting the imposter guy that was in the wheelchair, but he didn't need the wheelchair. But somebody walks by and says, "Hey, he's beating up a guy in a wheelchair." And then putting, like 5 members of the Chicago Bears wearing team merch happen to be the next people in the hallway that go and give him his beating.
I was about to say, I'm not familiar with a lot of, the 91 Bears and everything. Were these actual Bears?
The credits list the names of actual Bears, but, if they were telling a lie, I wouldn't be able to testify against them. You know what I mean?
I didn't recognize them. I couldn't tell you, man.
Like, it wasn't Walter Payton and Jim
it's
McMahon.
not the 85. It's not the 85 Bears.
Fridge sticks out in a crowd. So
yeah, exactly. It's like, where's Fridge at here? It used to be somewhere along these lines. The oddest part in this whole movie, and they don't really mention it, they don't really talk about it, he doesn't have a line, but for some weird reason, out of nowhere, Priscilla Presley is dancing with Mel Torme.
Yeah.
Yes, I loved it too. And because it's Mel Torme.
Yeah.
And because it's a recognizable person, what I'm expecting is Frank says, "Can I cut in?" And then Frank and Mel Torme dance.
That's what I thought was happening for sure,
that's like
right?
a Sucker Brothers joke, isn't it? I think that's their level.
And I got to say, I'm a big Velvet Fog fan or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
But then he just turns around and walks away. Maybe he was just,
gone.
Just there with his buddy Bob that day, and he got a scene.
Just gone. It's like never to be
Like, if
seen
you're going
again.
to eat from the craft services table, you at least got to be on camera, Mel.
Now, I could be wrong, but is this the first Ghost parody?
Yeah.
Feels like it's got to be, right? It's too close. I don't know who else would have done
it's
something.
so close to Ghost coming out that it's got to be.
And your buddy worked on it here and everything, so certainly you're going to have enough of in to know what's what. But I love how they're able to take a swipe at it and everything. Just because why not?
Here we are 30 years later. That's the only gag I remember from this movie before I rewatched it. So it worked on some level.
Then, of course, as you would imagine in most Zucker movies and stuff like that, when we get to the sex scene, I have never seen more cutaways to more sexual innuendo in my entire life. It's kind of hilarious. There's like, what's anything that could possibly be a substitute for sex? Throw that in there, and the kitchen sink the whole damn thing.
Yeah, and that sex scene I consider part of the Ghost parody in my mind.
Yeah.
Like, I remember all that as one big piece, and I would have sworn that all the imagery that went around that, like the rocket ship taking off, the train going through the tunnel, in my mind, I had remembered that as being part of the first Naked Gun. So I was kind of surprised when it wasn't there on that rewatch. So it must be maybe my favorite part of it in some way, because I'm lumping it in with the movie that I prefer out of this trilogy. But also, it's probably influenced Zack Snyder before he made Watchmen, because he took the same thing, but instead of playing it as a gag, wanted it to really be a punctuation mark on that scene.
No, it's worse than that. Like, as with him, it was just like, yeah, we're going to put in Hallelujah, already a bad song. And then on to top that off, he just goes, "This is my daughter's favorite song." Why would you have your daughter's favorite song playing with these two people banging in the Night Owl ship? This don't make no sense, bro. It's weird.
I would say to you, it's not a bad song. It's just a wildly overplayed song.
There you go. I can agree with that.
Segment of society.
Yeah, it's been around a little bit too much. I think that's my problem.
So we haven't brought up my second favorite line of the entire movie, which is when dude from South Carolina has hostages in the house and he starts making his demands. And I had to pull it up because it's too funny to just like muddle through. He goes, I want a car out front, something fun, a Porsche. Then I want a plane ticket to Jamaica. I want a nice hotel. No touristy place, something really indicative of the people in their culture, which I just howled. I was laughing so hard. Even last night, I was like, that is such a well-written line. Where is more of that? But no, we've got to get 20 minutes of a puppet as a lobster and just OJ under a bus for 10 minutes.
In that scene there with the hostage situation and all that, when Frank commandeers a tank, that's not a real tank, right?
No.
Because it looks worse than the ones I would make for G.I. Joes, because my parents were too broke to buy me the actual tank, so I'd make one out of a shoebox. And I think my shoebox with a big Slurpee straw in it looked better than this thing.
It doesn't look as bad as that one movie where they had the armored car, but it's pretty bad. I can't remember what movie that was at this point now, but we laughed and laughed. If you guys remember, it was like they spray painted a
Jackie January or something. That's what it feels like.
You might be right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it also falls in the same category as your Time Cop vehicle as well, where it's just like, hey, that's just an Astro van with a whole bunch of crab hot glued on it.
Strangely looks like a Cybertruck now in retrospect.
It kind of does.
Yeah, I'm not making a joke. I just think it does.
A lot of head trauma with the doctor being tied up there and everything. It's just one of those, as let's keep going on and on. The thing I'm always impressed about with those is just actually the sound design of it and everything to make it, feel like actual things are hitting you. So while not wildly hilarious, it is like, oh, at least it looks good. And it's like, you get feels like the weight of something. It's not hilarious, but
I love to think about what kind of warehouse stores that combination of goods on the same shelf too. Like that's part of the joke. And then when Ed finally finds him and says, oh my God, what did they do to you?
Yeah, anytime an anvil can like shimmy across a thing and then pop off on somebody's head and he's A-okay, I'm fine with that. Just because it's dumb. Whistler's mother tattoo. What an odd kind of throwaway sort of thing. I don't know why.
It's terrible. It's a terrible, terrible joke. It's again, it's just very lazy writing. It's like, because they also over-explain everything in this movie, which I don't think they did in the original Naked Gun, or maybe they do, and I just never saw that. But man, there is so much over-explaining everything before they get to the punch of it, so that everybody can all be on the same page and you can move forward.
Maybe they think their audience is dumb and they're just like, listen, these people are stupid.
They definitely do. They completely think that the people watching this movie are stupid. And I don't like it. I prefer the first one.
It's like they missed, it feels to me like they missed the point that the third act is what made that first movie a classic, because this feels like, okay, so that first movie, people loved it, so let's just take out that third act and we're just going to give them more of the first and second act.
Yeah, that's not wrong.
How it feels to me.
That's a really good point, Bruce. The third act of this is, well, it's all kind of weak, but the third act is particularly weak in this, whereas that third act in the original Naked Gun. I mean, I say this over and over again. It's just so good.
And I'm not watching a Naked Gun movie for story structure, but along that line of conversation, this just doesn't really have great story structure compared to the first one. It doesn't really have good act structure, in my opinion.
No,
it's just same story ends.
Yep.
Well, and some of it is, I don't know, to a small degree or whatever, like just, I guess the subject of it, where it's just like, oh, we're talking about, green technology and stuff like that. Or like, it's a little like they even make a joke about it in the movie where like the professor's giving his lecture on all the green stuff that he thinks should be happening. And everybody in this, the audience there's asleep. So it's like, you even knew it about your own thing. It was like, oh yeah, this is kind of boring.
I do like they give him the spicy novel to read to wake everybody up so they can get out before the bomb.
Somebody's like, loins? What are we talking about here? Oh, I gotta wake up for this. Sounds like a good one. I've never, that seemed like an odd one, but okay, sure. But sandbag humor, that's got it. I feel that's the most up Bruce Leslie's, kind of alley there.
There are some things that die and you just hope they'll come back someday. There's just not enough sandbag humor these days. And it's just right there. It's just right there begging to be used.
And you always got to miss your first one. You can't hit it on the first shot. That's the given.
Let's go backwards for a second, because it feels like Bruce like unburied something there, which is that sometimes things die and you hope they come back. Did you have something in your head when you said that, like specifically?
Have you ever seen Pet Sematary?
Bugle Boy jeans.
Oh, you're hoping Bugle Boy jeans come back?
Yeah, it's just an example. Jordache.
Okay.
Jeans. I don't know why, but the gene part of my brain's really active right
now. Look, no judgment here. Not with this particular moment.
The man needs slacks.
Lots of judgment with everything else, but with this one moment, no judgment.
Just a little bit.
Oh, good.
I like the there's stupid little bits where he just goes like, where what's his face just goes like, this man, and everybody in the audience grabs the closest woman to them and holds a gun to their head.
Yeah.
I'm just like, everyone in here is so suspicious that they're just like, oh, they've got to be talking about me, and I'm willing to take out any person. And then we just kind of slough it off like, listen, no, we weren't talking about you guys.
So much better if they didn't set up for so long though that something like that's about to happen. It's what bothers me about this sequel is that you already know something like that's going to happen. Yes, it's a funny idea, but your audience aren't the dumbest people alive.
Yeah, they do think everybody dumb. But the close range shootout, you got to love that one though. That's pretty good. Where they're 2 feet away from each other, they can't hit at whatsoever. They're running out of bullets. Some about that is pretty good. I do enjoy that. That's a good one.
That is pretty good.
Oh, and also another good one was picking up the dead guy or the near dead guy, and he's like, "You're on my crotch." First, there's a good funny bit, but then second one, he goes, "I don't," he dies, and then goes, "Who else out here is almost dead?" Picks up the next guy,
comes up into frame. That is the best camera joke in the entire movie. Is when the hand comes up into frame. It's very funny.
And then him just go, well, if you're going to be a jerk about it, it just dies off. I've always thought that was really great because I'd be the same. If I was some guy to like, listen, I'm just going to go ahead and die here. I don't need to help you. It didn't help me out at all. I'm 2 seconds away from death. Nordberg putting the gun together, just taking forever. That to me is like just parodying all of the 80s classic of like just thing on top of thing on top of thing until we're literally like, basically have a tank on the roof of a building and shoot a hole through the wall, which is awesome.
Yeah, he's got a big piece of artillery and even has like the helmet.
Yeah, exactly. The helmet and all the kind of the bull crap that goes along with it. I'm for stuff like that. And him jumping over and then down into the thing. I like all stupid, Leslie Nielsen is far more active and, amazing than you would ever possibly suspect. And it's just clearly a stunt double just jumping down and him popping up from underneath. Fun little gags like that. Oh, and his getting the shirt taken off and having the big chiseled chest and all that kind of.
Yeah.
Very, very good. Did you notice this one? I mean, I know you noticed the joke, but the guy who's walking around with the "to serve man."
Yeah, it's a Twilight Zone reference.
Well, not only is it a Twilight Zone reference, that's the guy.
Oh, is it really?
That's the guy from the episode.
Wow.
Which is pretty awesome.
That particular joke went past a lot of people in 1991. Do you think it goes past more or less people now? Because I feel like nothing's obscure anymore.
People don't cook anything anymore. That's probably part of the problem.
I would argue too many people think that they're great cooks.
That's probably true too.
I think the Treehouse of Horror, in a post Treehouse of Horror world where they did their own gag, that people would get it more now than they did then. Maybe.
I like how when we're defusing the bomb here and everything, she picks up the manual and literally the first button that he presses skips it forward 2 minutes and speeds it up.
I gotta say, I have a favorite thing. I have a favorite physical bit about the bomb, which is that he's not having any problem working on the bomb. Like, every time he clips a wire or presses a button, it's the wrong thing, but it's usually like you have they don't do the usual thing of the red wire or blue wire, which I was certain was going to happen. And they don't do that. He has no problem with that part. He just can't make it stop ticking. And I thought that was pretty great. Or maybe I'm just reading into it. I don't know.
I also like how when they decide to escape, it's with 3 seconds left. What? What now? Was like, I think we need to get out of here now. I think you're already screwed. You've waited far too long for this. The second that said 2 minutes, you should have been hauling ass right then and there. Get 2 minutes away from it as opposed to, 2 seconds. I think you're gonna blow up. No bueno there. How do we feel about the environmental message of the film?
Well, we know how Adam Porteous feels about the environmental message on the film.
A little heavy-handed, perhaps.
I know. I just bringing it up is too heavy-handed for you. I think that they're going for something. I think it's one of the early attempts of that, and so it's going to be a lot more ham-fisted than something that they would throw in a movie today. Like, good on them for trying something, but man, it feels like 4-year-olds are putting together the message of the movie. And I'm sorry for cutting you off, Bruce.
That's all right. My favorite part of the whole side of things, that whole bit of the humor, because honestly, I kind of forgot that was a big part of it until it comes back up again at the end. But my favorite part's just the acronyms for the cartels, like smoke for the coal cartel and
Kapow.
spill for the oil cartel. Yeah, I can't remember what the kaboom. That was my favorite one, the kaboom for the atomic energy one. So I enjoyed it because it had those acronyms in it.
Yeah,
so
fun little bits like that. It's got some of those things in there. But
this had to be pretty close to the same year as Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the film. And they had that whole hug the earth was the prom theme. I think there was it was trendy and new. Novel. It was novel. Environmentalism was kind of a novel thing.
No, it totally was. I mean, like we had Captain Planet and stuff like that. Yeah. So like we were pushing real hard. Yeah. That's all this era. I will say this though,
that makes sense.
You wouldn't find this joke in today's Hollywood movie, where he's going through all of these things. Now, granted, he does say, which I think was definitely correct, and it happened right after this. Maybe you can say Naked Gun 2 did it, where he's like, we got to put a better Democrat up for election and everything, and Bill Clinton then won. So, and that leftists like that a whole bunch. So that's good. Mm-hmm. But the thing that you couldn't say today, he goes through all of these things that he would like to see in society and then just goes, and a 7-Eleven without an interpreter. I was like, oh, today's Hollywood would not let you get away with that one, my friend.
Yeah.
You would be strung up.
They book in this with a presidential impersonator. They book in this story with George Bush having big parts and this guy doing George Bush. And I just think if they were one administration earlier or later, how much better that impression would hold up, because they kind of got like the guy that if you weren't watching SNL at that point in time, which probably a lot of people aren't now, I don't know how well that holds up. But you got a Clinton, that's good forever. Ronald Reagan's evergreen.
I will say this, the makeup is decent enough for what it is and what they're trying to do and stuff. It's fine. I think it helps the actor a little bit, because like in far shots, even especially Barbara looks dead on correct.
Yeah.
But like from a wide shot and stuff, it's like, oh, that kind of really actually looks like them and everything. You get a little bit closer and obviously, things fall apart a little bit, but it's not bad. The makeup job is not horrible, and he does a good enough job kind of giving a Bush. But, like you said, a Dana Carvey would have just been a heck of a lot more fun. We wouldn't have to.
It just seems like such a layup, man. I just don't understand it. Bruce was right to bring that up. It doesn't make any sense.
I think, though, at the same time, too, like, Dana Carvey's going to certainly enjoy this this pat on the back. But I think he's so good that he would just have overshined everybody else in the movie. And maybe that would have been like, we don't want that.
Maybe.
What year's Wayne's World come out?
92.
Is he
93.
already? I didn't know if he's already busy with Wayne's World, but not if it's 93. Maybe if it's 92.
He is literally like the most famous person on SNL for 3 years at this
92.
point. 92.
Yeah,
so I would guess that he probably, the reason why he's not in it is because he's asking for a lot of money to do it, which is why they didn't. But I think that was a mistake.
Or it's definitely a mistake. I don't know anybody who's going to put up a legitimate argument that it's a mistake, but I just don't know if they didn't want to suddenly have the studio putting Dana Carvey starring Leslie Nielsen and Dana Carvey on the posters or something.
Yeah, I honestly think I would not be shocked if that had at least a little bit of a role in it.
Yeah. It turns out Goulet won't work with Carvey, so they had to make a choice.
Goulet says no to Carvey. I won't do it, I tell you. Get that little guy out of here. He freaks me out.
I can do a great George Bush.
Now, if you had to recast this I don't know if we even need to do this bit anymore. Do we need to do this bit anymore?
Not for this one, man.
I mean, it's the same question.
Same basic shit we've had, so we don't need to do that. But let's do this. Let's get down to our good final review here and everything. Bruce, what is your star grade and recommendation for Naked Gun 2.5, The Smell of Fear from 1991?
Well, I did a little mathematics on this because if the first movie gave us 3 acts and this only really matched the first 2 acts, I'm going to say the maximum it could get is 2/3 of 5 stars, which is 3 1/3 star.
What? I didn't go to math class. Can
So
you run that back?
The maximum I would give this is 3 1/3 star, but I got to take a little bit off because though I probably found it enjoyable enough, probably even liked it better in 91 than I do now, I'm going to give it 3 stars.
All right, fair enough. Sean?
Well, like I said earlier, it's not bereft of humor. There are some moments in it that did legitimately make me laugh. But boy, there is a whole lot of movie around that where I was just, man, how long is this thing? Oh, it's only $1.25. Fantastic. I'm going 2 stars on this. I think that if you did not grow up with Leslie Nielsen or Naked Gun, you're going to hate this movie. This is not something that you fall ass backwards into and go, this is the thing I was looking for.
Especially this particular one, number 2.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, it's weird because we've been talking about George Bush in this film. I wanted to see who it is because you can't recognize him through the makeup. You can't recognize him, period, because his name's John Rourke. And John Rourke basically is an actor that they would use constantly to play other people. So he's constantly playing like in this movie, he's George Bush. He's George Bush in a few other things as well, but he also plays Reagan. On the Weird Al show, he plays Clint Eastwood. It's stuff like that where he's always he's the guy you got for a period of time where you needed an actor to be able to act through the makeup.
1991's Daryl Hammond.
Yes, except everyone isn't praising how great his impressions are, even though they all kind of sound exactly the same.
What are you talking about? They're all...
There's no Frank Caliendo, my friend.
Oh, he's also like he's on Kenan and Kel as George Bush. Like, yeah,
oh wow,
okay.
It tracks. That's kind of like the Zuckers, old enough. Maybe they're still calling Central Casting for stuff.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Send us your Bush impersonator. We don't want to cast Carvey because of the whole Goulet thing.
They got a checklist. Like, Bush is here. Let's put that in there. For me, I'm going to go kind of just straight down the middle with this one. I didn't hate it. I did have enough of laughs. Here's kind of how I thought about this by the end of it. I was like, I didn't feel myself laughing out loud a whole bunch, but there was like a lot of like, that's funny. That kind of like the comedic equivalent of just saying good job kind of thing. I'm like, that's good. Maybe it's not a knee slapper or anything like that, but it's enough of a joke that I see what you were going for, and I appreciate it for what it was, even if it's not the most amazing thing in the entire world. So I'm just kind of going to go a straight 3-star out of this. For being the sequel, it's certainly not up to the original par here and everything, but it could be a lot worse, and maybe we'll find a lot worse tomorrow, and we'll look back at this one and just go like, we had it so good with 2.5.
I feel like that's exactly what's about to happen.
It may happen that way, so we'll kind of check all of that out next week here and everything. But yep, that is it, everybody. We've got another one under our belts. Next week we're checking out Naked Gun 3 1/3, The Final Insult. Which oddly enough is not going to be the final one because that one is, we just had the remake there or the sequel, so I suppose.
Yep.
So it all works well. Bruce, in the meantime, where can people find more of your work on the internet?
It's almost September, and September means we're in the mood where we want to watch some scary movies, and if you want to watch something scary and have a good time and not spend more than 38 minutes doing it just in case this thing stinks, you can go check out Werewolf Fighter on YouTube. Just search up Werewolf Fighter, or you can look at the Bruce Leslie channel there.
Yeah, check that out. That's in the show notes. Sean,
I'm too busy to deal with social media stuff. What are you up to, Adam?
I am doing so much stuff over on our HMP YouTube page, everybody. Go and check that out. We're doing TikTok Trash Tuesdays. That's where live I get on the internets and talk a whole bunch of crap about other people and try to start a little bit of something. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But it's always, I don't want to say it's always funny, but it's at least a fun time. I'll put it to you that way. I try to be funny and informative, but try not to go too far into either direction. You know what I
mean? Are you also really smarmy and you're full of yourself?
I try not to be.
You try not to be on camera?
Listen, you know who you're talking to. That's why you asked this question.
That's literally why I asked the question.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, I try to do okay.
Something about that guy. I want to punch him in his fucking face.
They can bring it on all they want. I'm on the internet.
Yes.
Put a thumbs down on it. That still does something to the algorithms. I don't give a shit.
I've won.
You're already here. Did you see the ad? Thanks for the money, jerk off. Wait a minute. I mean, thank you for liking and subscribing and all of those things. I love you so much for it. You guys are very, very awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It is putting extra money in my pocket every month. I swear to God.
Forget home ownership. You just want a Rode Procaster.
Exactly. I've already got that. All right. So that is it, everybody. So, yeah, links are in the show notes for all that crap, everybody. That is it. Join us next week when we're talking Naked Gun 33 1/3, the final insult. For Sweet Sean Kovacs from the internet, Bruce Leslie, I'm Adam Portrush reminding you, dirty babies, to get out there and watch some movies.